What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to our little corner of the internet. Today we're going to be watching a video titled 1917's Parenting That Would Get You Arrested Today. This must be bad, because to get arrested, I don't know, I feel like nowadays people do a lot of soft parenting, so this might be a little shocking. But without further ado, let's see what this video is about. Okay, great. We start the video. There's already a baby in a cage. Let's bring the 1970s back. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, okay? That doesn't look that bad, though.
Parenting in the 1970s was a completely different world, filled with habits and decisions that were barely questioned at the time. Looking
Is that beer?
back now, many of the things parents routinely allowed would spark outrage today, and some might even get a visit from the police, or at the very least, Child Protective Services.
To be fair, anything will break outrage today, but
In many rural towns and quiet neighborhoods during the 1970s, it wasn't unusual for a parent or grandparent to let an elementary-aged kid steer the family car down a dirt road, or even drive around a parking lot. Some kids learned to drive tractors, pickup trucks, and station wagons years before they were legally old enough. Parents often saw it as teaching responsibility rather than recklessness. Today, having a child sit on your lap is far from common, but back then, it was treated like a normal part of growing up.
come on. Obviously, this didn't happen in the cities. Like, I mean, is that something that's like illegal to? I mean, it's illegal, but when I was a child, that was like my favorite memories of like summers at the summer cabin when we would drive up the dirt road and maybe I could like steer or try to drive. Like that was amazing. I would do that with my child still today. And if you want to judge me on that, then be free to. But this is adorable.
The 1970s practically invented the latchkey kid. Millions of children came home from school to an empty house while both parents worked. Kids carried house keys on shoelaces around their necks and spent hours alone making snacks, watching television, or roaming the neighborhood until dinner time. Parents
Is this like a video about my childhood? I did that too. My mom was a single mother. She was working a lot. I had to have my keys on my neck because some of you that know me better know that I lose absolutely everything. So I had the keys on my neck in a chain, and I remember I got bullied for that as well at school because like only the teachers wore keys in their neck, and I was like the weird child who had the keys. But still, I mean, this is something that like, okay, nowadays I don't know if I would let my child walk from school to home alone, like very, very young. It depends, but come on, this is like circumstance thing. Like, no, it's that not all parents can be at home, okay? Like with their food ready and, you know, it's a circumstance. That's fine. That's okay. It depends though. If you're in a like quiet neighborhood, why not? Oh my god, I'm gonna be there. If this is like stuff that's gonna like bring outrage or outbreak or whatever they said, outrage, then I'm gonna be a very bad parent probably.
expected kids to figure things out on their own. Today, leaving young children unsupervised for any period of time could trigger investigations in some states. But in the 1970s, it was simply everyday life. Rediscover your past by digitizing your family's memories with Legacy Box. Watch until the end of this video to find out more about preserving your legacy, and then visit legacybox.com/recollection. One of the most unbelievable things about parenting in the 70s was how casually adults sent kids to the store to buy cigarettes. A handwritten note from mom or dad was often enough for the cashier to hand over a carton without hesitation. Kids would walk out carrying
Yeah, nah. This was not happening in my house. And I would not make my kids go buy anything illegal. if there was something illegal to buy, like not even alcohol.
The cigarettes like it was perfectly normal, because it was. Today that scenario sounds almost surreal because of strict tobacco laws. Smoking was so socially accepted during this time that parents found it a convenient way to get their fix while also teaching their kids a bit of responsibility. Summer in the 1970s often meant leaving the house in the morning and not returning until the streetlights came on. Parents usually had no idea exactly where their kids were for most of the day. They rode bikes for miles, explored woods, built forts, and wandered neighborhoods completely unsupervised. Today, that level of freedom would make many modern parents panic. But back then, independence was considered healthy, and boredom was something kids were expected to solve on their own.
I love that. I love that. Like that's what gives good freaking childhood memories. Okay, not just being on your iPad, kids. Oh, I was born in the wrong era. But nowadays I would probably not do this if it was not like that, you know, it was a house with like a lot of land or something where I could like have my kids supervised if I had kids. But and because of like just nowadays world, you know, I don't feel like that's safe. You know, I wouldn't let my kids roam around a neighborhood on their own, you know? But I find it beautiful though.
As we discussed before, cigarette smoking was rampant in the 1970s. Smoke filled homes, restaurants, airplanes, and even family cars. Do you remember your parents smoking with the windows rolled up? With children close by in the back seat, parents got a lot of use out of those tiny built-in ashtrays. The smoke clung to clothes, upholstery, and hair so completely that some kids never realized how bad it was until they became adults. Smoking around children today is widely condemned and even illegal in some places, but not in the 1970s, with most adults having no idea how dangerous secondhand smoke really was. Spanking was one of the most common forms of
I can't judge that because they didn't know better, you know? Like they didn't know that secondhand smoke does, like, you know, hurts your child. So even though it sounds crazy today to smoke in a closed place with a child, in that era when you didn't know that that was even like hurtful. I mean, imagine like in 50 years, someone might say like, people sat in front of their computers for hours not knowing that that was causing them brain damage. I mean, you know, like something crazy. We didn't know any better back then, okay.
Discipline back then, and few people questioned it. Belts would common forms of discipline. Spanking was one of the most common forms of discipline back then, and few people questioned it. Belts, wooden spoons, switches, paddles, there were lots of options. And that's because parents believed spanking taught respect and corrected bad behavior. Schools even allowed paddling as a form of punishment for misbehaving in the classroom. Today, attitudes toward discipline have shifted dramatically, with many people now viewing spanking as harmful or even abusive. What once seemed like normal parenting now sparks heated debates, and in some situations...
And that's why nowadays kids got no respect. I'm kidding. I wouldn't spank my kids, okay? I couldn't bring myself to do that either. I mean,
It leads to jail time. If a child talked back or used bad language in the 1970s, if a spanking wasn't involved, there was a good chance they might end up with a bar of soap in their mouth.
Okay, but tell me why you got that soap up in a baby's mouth? Like that baby probably doesn't even know how to speak. Probably spoke their first words that they learned from their parents. It was already bad and now they got soap in the mouth. That's a baby.
Involved, there was a good chance they might end up with a bar of soap in their mouth. Parents saw it as a harmless lesson that would clean up foul language. Kids dreaded the bitter taste of bar soap. especially if it was lathered up first. Today, many people would view this kind of discipline as humiliating or even abusive. But if you grew up in the 1970s, there is no doubt you experienced getting your mouth washed out with soap at least once.
I would love to see like someone who was like a mother or grew their children in the 1970s to like I mean, I guess there's still obviously people who have lived that era and are still alive, but you know, like I would love to hear like what their opinion is on if it's gotten better or worse. What is the name? Diga.
Hola, con
Sí.
Con gusto, mi nombre es Gabriela. Te llamamos, Saini, por el servicio que tienes de Finetwork, ¿lo recuerdas? ¿Tienes la Wi-Fi 2 líneas o una?
She was asking me questions and then she just hung up on me. That was weird.
1970s, kids as young as 6 or 7 routinely walked to school alone, sometimes covering long distances without any adult supervision. Parents rarely worried about it because independence was expected from an early age. Rain.
I walked to school and back as well, but it was just 7 minutes walk. Like it wasn't a long walk. It was like down the street and that's it.
Cold weather and busy streets were simply part of the routine. Today, many schools and neighborhoods would consider that unsafe. And
my grandpa used to ski to school like in the winter time, like in the middle of the forest. And it would probably take him like hours to get to school skiing. That's crazy.
Parents have even faced criticism or investigations for letting their children walk alone. When you got sick in the 1970s, old home remedies were often utilized. One of the most famous was gargling with whiskey for a sore throat. Some adults even rubbed whiskey on gums for teething babies, or mixed small amounts into nighttime remedies. Modern medicine now strongly discourages using any form of alcohol to treat illness, but decades ago, many families trusted these cures that were passed down for generations. It was less about recklessness and more about doing what people believed actually worked.
Again, you can't really judge that. They didn't know better.
In the 1970s, many pregnant women smoked cigarettes, and some continued to drink alcohol throughout. The dangers were not fully understood, and doctors...
Okay, but I'm more impressed about the hair rolls. I wouldn't know how to do the hair rolls like that, but they just get, like, my hair gets stuck everywhere and it's just messy. That's a very good job. If she did that alone, top notch.
Continued to drink alcohol throughout. The dangers were not fully understood, and doctors would even appear in cigarette advertisements, claiming certain brands were safe. Pregnant women might be told to avoid stress more often than they were warned about the risks of smoking. Today, those habits are strongly linked to serious health risks and would bring immediate criticism. But back then, many mothers were simply following the cultural norms of the time.
Again, can't judge.
Before there was a chickenpox vaccine, some parents intentionally exposed their young children to the illness through chickenpox parties. The idea was simple. It was considered better to catch chickenpox young rather than as an adult, when symptoms could be much worse. Parents would bring a health...
I think I've had chickenpox as a child, but I don't think I was at a chickenpox party. I like parties. Come... That's actually horrifying. Like, that's like to bring like, what? How do you even do that? Like, oh my god, hey, my child has chickenpox. I'll invite you to my house to get chickenpox as well. Let's have a chickenpox party. Like, how does that work? That is horrifying.
Healthy children over to play with an infected child, with the purpose of exposing them to contagious disease.
That is horrifying.
This might sound reckless today, but many parents genuinely believed they were protecting their children in the long run. Back in the 1970s, kids bounced around the family car like it was a living room on wheels. Seatbelts existed, but parents barely thought about using them to restrain kids, especially on short trips across town. You could stretch out in the rear window area, spread out in the back.
Come on. That is way more fun. But I do agree that children should wear seatbelts and stay safe. But now that would have been fun to like do what she's doing right there. That looks like fun.
Or ride in the front seat without a second thought. Today, that would easily garner nasty stares and visits from the police. But at the time, most parents thought the safety of their arm across the bench seat was all you needed to stay safe.
Yeah, nah, I would judge very harshly if I saw this happening in real life. But like in real life, nowadays, but from a child's perspective, obviously this is way more fun, but not safe at all.
For many kids growing up in the 1970s, getting a sip of dad's beer was a rite of passage. Parents would laugh as children made disgusted faces after tasting it for the first time. Beer especially was viewed more casually in the 1970s, and having a sip at a family gathering didn't raise any concern. Today, parents avoid that entirely because of stricter attitudes and laws surrounding underage drinking. But in the freedom of the 1970s, it was often seen as harmless curiosity rather than dangerous behavior.
I think normal is like maybe let your child have a little sip of when they're like already like 13, 14, 15, like to taste something, but no, I don't like that. Like I understand how like it could be funny, like, oh, the baby's drinking beer, but like I don't agree with that. I wouldn't approve of that. I bet there's people who still do that, but I wouldn't.
Recollection Road and Legacy.
I'm guessing the rest of this is an ad. I wish this video was longer. That was a fun video to watch. Have you guys been brought up this way? How was you brought up? Thank you guys for joining me for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video.